Everybody's excited because you guys are winning. Typically 5-7, you wouldn't necessarily be heaping a lot of praise on a team, but this year you guys are in the mix for a playoff spot.
No doubt. Yeah, that's what you want to be playing for this late, right?
Yeah, that's right. Games mean something.
Yeah. How important has this season been for you? You really established yourself in this league. I know when you were signed, a couple of us are arguing over who was your biggest fan when we signed you, because we
both want to claim you.
We both want to claim you, Logan, because obviously everybody saw you play in college. They were like, this guy's an athlete. All right, maybe it's not going to work as quarterback, but why can't he play tight end? When did you know that you could make this transition and you could be this kind of player?
I knew pretty much at all times I could make the transition. God blessed me with some talent that I was able to make that transition. But it didn't really click to me until I was about my second year in Buffalo, so 2017. I made a couple of plays, and I was like, all right, yeah, I can do this. So from that point on, I've just been waiting for the right time to be able to have a chance to play and improve and show what I can do.
Who was in the tight end room at that time in Buffalo?
That was Charles Clay and Nick O'Leary.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah,
gotcha.
Clay.
O'Leary, isn't that Nicholas's grandson?
Yeah, he's a Florida State kid.
Yeah, I think so.
Probably has a silly swing, that kid.
Oh, yeah.
Hit it so straight.
I'm sure. Did you, was it difficult for you to get used to the contact? From being a quarterback, obviously you're a big, strong guy, but, you get hit at quarterback, no question. But the constant contact, the going over the middle and making big plays like that, was that difficult for you?
No. I mean, if you watched how I played in college, the way I ran the football, I wasn't really running away from contact.
No.
Right.
So taking the hits wasn't really the problem. It was just learning the techniques and the footwork that I needed to do to be able to block people.
I mean, you were as big, if not bigger, than most of the guys hitting you in college.
That's true. That's true. I was heavier than I am now.
Really?
Well, what are you, about
10 pounds?
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, it's just been awesome to watch you progress and develop at that position. I think this week, was he 9 for 9? With 9 catches on 9 targets?
Caught everything. Catch radius is so
Caught
big.
everything. What was that like?
It felt good. It was one of those games where I felt dialed in. After I made the first one, I was like, man, I hope more keep coming my way. And, it was just one of those things. Last week in Dallas, me and Alex got off to a good start. I think we were 4 for 4, and then it just carried over this week.
How much talking is there, like, when you're running back in the huddle? And being an ex-quarterback, you dealt with this, but now that on the receiving part, how much dialogue is there where you're like, hey, man, I'm open here, that kind of thing? How much of that chirping is going on?
During the game, none. One of the plays this week, he asked me if I was open. I said, hey, you made your read. We kept on moving. Because I've been in those shoes before. You got enough to think about.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, man.
What about that fourth down play? I hated the call, to be honest with you. Not necessarily the play call. I just didn't like going for it in our own 34. But I like the fact that they've been using you in there. Do you get excited for that when you're all of a sudden you're under center and then you're sort of in control there for a moment?
Absolutely. I think it gives us a different dynamic on offense. It gives you, something somebody else has to prepare for. And even if they have to take, 10, 15 minutes throughout the week to prepare for, 1 or 2 plays, that's something that they're not prepared for on the other side. But I enjoy getting back there behind center because, it takes me back to my roots.
Right.
Joined by Logan Thomas, Washington football team tight end. How challenging has it been catching balls from 3 different quarterbacks in less than a full season here in Washington? You always hear about developing a rapport and a chemistry with the quarterback that's throwing the balls to receivers and tight ends. You've had to deal with 3 different quarterbacks already.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's nothing like a little bit of adversity. Thankfully, I've been through it a couple times in my career. In Buffalo with that whole situation with Tyrod and Nathan Peterman ordeal. So I just had with this team especially, it's been fun just to be able to get a feel for the different guys because Alex is different from Dwayne. Dwayne's different than Kyle. Kyle's different from Alex too. And, it's right now I think we just got something clicking, and I'm thankful for the direction that it's heading in.
All right, so let's look ahead. We've been doing this. You guys have 4 games left at 5-7. You guys are atop the NFC East, tied with the Giants, but they've got the tiebreaker. You're only a game back of the last wild card spot, which is the Vikings. They got a pretty tough schedule. Have you got a chance to look at San Francisco yet? What do you see on the defensive side for the 49ers?
Yeah, they're a good team. Obviously, they've had a whole bunch of injuries this year, but they're playing hard. They're playing tough. The other night, they just gave up too many big plays. But they're one of those teams where you got to go out there and you got to beat them. They're not going to beat themselves. They got a good head coach. They got a good plan, good defensive coordinator. So, we got a task in front of us, but it's nothing that we haven't been, faced the last couple of weeks. It's been playoff mentality for us the last couple of weeks anyway. So this is just another one of those games where we're going to have to go in. It's going to be a tough, gritty game, but if we play the way we've been playing and play smart, we should come out on top again.
Logan, how surprised were you? I was. How surprised were you that Colt McCoy went out to Seattle and won?
You know what? In this league, nothing surprises me anymore.
Yeah.
There's no telling what could happen. But, Colt McCoy's one of those guys that's played a whole lot of football. And I guess Seattle didn't go out there and play their best game, and New York played a whale of a football game. And, kudos to them. Made it a little bit tougher to go get the NFC East. But like I said, if you play this game and you don't want to fight, then what's the reason to play? So, we're just happy to where we're sitting at with an opportunity to take the division late in the season.
How many wins do you legitimately think you need to get the division? You think 8, or do you think 7 has a shot?
You know what? I haven't even looked at it that much into it. All I know is if we win this weekend, I'll feel even better about our chances.
Well, I'll fill you in. The Giants, who have the tiebreaker on you, they've got Zona, Cleveland, Baltimore, and Dallas. So they face 3 teams with winning records. Actually, Zona's 500.
500, right.
You guys technically have the softer schedule, so you have that going for you. And then the Vikings, who are 6-6, have the wild card. They've got Tampa this week, Chicago, the Saints on the road, and then they close out against your boy Matthew Stafford and the Lions.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah,
so you actually
lining up.
Yeah,
it lines up for you guys, but you have to take care of business. Hey, I wanted to flip to the more personal side as we get to know Logan Thomas here, tight end for the Washington football team. It doesn't look like you're a big social media guy, because I went on your Twitter and it looks like you haven't been active for a couple years. But you got this picture. You got this picture with an elephant, and I guess it's your wife. Can you fill us in on that one?
Yeah. So all y'all seen like the Tiger King show on Netflix, I'm sure.
Right.
That's Doc Antle. He has like a safari down there in Myrtle Beach. My family has taken a trip to Myrtle Beach my entire life, pretty much since I was like 3 weeks old. And so we linked up with him, and he says he takes his elephant into the inlet and just cruises from time to time. And we're like, yeah, we'd love to be a part of that. And so we thought it'd be good to take a family picture as well. And so that's kind of how that all came together.
Mm.
And then speaking of families, we have a producer who just had twins, and we're like marveling, man, it's got to be tough to just like load them into a car. You're managing 5 boys, is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, five wild men.
That's awesome.
And what are their ages? Like, what's the gap?
Yeah, so it's 2 sets. It's 12, 11, 10, and the older 3, and then the younger 2 are 4 and 2.
And your wife played volleyball in college, right? So you're going to have some ballers on your hands.
Absolutely. Hopefully, we got a couple athletes in the mix.
You will.
For me, I want them to do whatever they want to do. But obviously, I'm going to push them in the athletic direction. But the older 3, they've already taken a liking to football, liking to basketball. But the one I'm scared of to see what he's about is my youngest. He's the biggest kid I've ever seen.
Really? How tall is the mom?
Mom's 6 foot.
Jeez, dude, they're gonna have monsters.
Logan, I gotta tell you, my daughter's a sophomore at Tech, and last year I went to a couple games. It was awesome, and she's a big sports fan. I gotta tell you, man, I was gonna go to the Clemson game this past weekend. Obviously you were there 4 years, going to Lane, and just feeling that atmosphere. I mean, it has been so depressing to go to. I actually went down there for a game weekend. Obviously, I couldn't go to the game. I just wanted to be down there. We went to a bar and watched the game. But man, I feel for these kids. I feel for the players to play in front of nobody. Man, it sucks.
Yeah, especially in college, just the college, that's where you get all that energy, all that atmosphere is from the people in the stadium, and then to have it empty, it's weird. It's weird even seeing it on TV.
Yeah. It's not the same to play Enter Sandman when there's no one in the stands.
Right.
Right. There's nobody jumping. There's not that sea of maroon and orange up there.
There's nothing.
For those kids, it sucks. Especially, it's just that type of year for everybody with everything going on.
I should know this. I'm embarrassed. But I watched that Tech entrance with nobody there this past weekend, and I don't know if they were playing Sandman or what. I know they play Sandman, but the guys were walking. Is that typically what they do? Do they typically walk in like that, or do they run in when they're playing that?
No, you usually run on in.
They're amped.
They were just walking this time.
Well, there was no one in the stadium.
Yeah. I figured that's why they were doing it.
And then they get pummeled by Trevor Lawrence by 35.
You don't need to rub the salt in the wound. Come on,
hey, I'm a Hokie fan.
I know you're wearing your Tech hat.
I'm wearing the hat right now just for Logan.
Right.
That Clemson team is something else, man. They got some talent down there.
I know. Well, I hope the next year's different for everyone. Hopefully, I don't know if it's going to be half full or quarter full, but you got to let some kids in there.
Speaking of talent, since you mentioned the word talent, the last couple years, and you haven't been part of the team until this year, Washington has amassed all these first-round picks on the defensive line. You practice against those guys. Talk about the talent you see in guys like Chase Young and Montez Sweat and Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne.
Yeah, you nailed it. All those first-round picks. They're first-round picks for a reason. And during training camp, I definitely learned why. Those dudes are talented, man. Between Chase and Montez on the outside, man, they're dynamic, they're fast, they're athletic, they're mean, and that's all the qualities you want at a defensive end. And to have those two on your bookends for a while, it's going to be nice.
What makes them mean?
Their attitude is mean. Y'all see Chase's face on game day. Mm-hmm. You probably don't see it. You don't see Sweat as much, but he's just as mean and wants to get after that quarterback. So
I think a scary looking guy is Payne. Like that dude, his strength in some of his he just tosses dudes aside. He's scary strong.
He is. He's compact. He's strong. Athletic. He's one of those dudes that doesn't talk a whole lot, but when he does, he means business.
How long did it take Chase to establish himself, honestly? I know people are probably going to say right on day one, but is that true?
There's always a little bit of a feeling out period, but from the time he stepped on the field, he was full go. You could always see the potential, and you could always see what he was coming out and what he is now. So there was really no hesitation to see his limits.
Hey, Logan, how serious is Gibby's toe? Can you tell us anything?
Yeah, I'm really not sure. I actually just left the facility, and turf toe is one of those things. Obviously, it got Steve Sims earlier this year, but it's one of those things. It could be 1 week, it could be a couple weeks, but hopefully for our case, it's a short one,
right?
And we're able to get him back soon.
What about Dwayne? Can you kind of give us a little insight now he's handling all this? I know at first it had to be brutal, but it seems like from afar that he seems a lot more engaged. He seems he's all in. He's tweeting about Alex this week. Have you seen any growth from Dwayne?
Absolutely. I think he's been doing a great job these last however many weeks. You could definitely see a change of how he's holding himself, how he's engaged, how he wants to be a part, and how he is excited to come into work every day and learn something new. And it's been fun to have him just watch from the outside him growing. And I'm proud of him. When the whole thing happened, when he ended up getting benched, I told him to help this fuel you, make you better, and down the road when you get that chance again, go ball and don't ever look back. And you know what, I have no expectations, or I have expectations that when he does have that chance, that's exactly what he'll do.
Hey, real quick, what's your opinion on going back a couple weeks to when Denver had to use a practice squad wide receiver at quarterback? Were you rooting for him? Did you feel for him? Do you think that was a fair situation?
All of the above. I was rooting for him. It wasn't fair. I wanted him to go out there and have a great game, but I knew the position that he was in, it was going to be a tough one. Obviously, that Saints defense is great. And then you're going in on not playing quarterback since your sophomore year of college. You probably haven't thrown a meaningful football in that amount of time, and I knew it was going to be a tough situation for him. And then back on my end, I was like, boy, I hope that don't happen to us. 'Cause I don't want to get back there again.
You don't want anything to do with that, do you?
No, I want no parts. I've been back there in those shoes enough, and it's a tough job, especially with no preparation.
Hey,
Yeah.
kind of a left field question, but you're such a great athlete, right? You were a high school track athlete. I looked it up. He did a long jump. It was like 23 feet, something absurd like that.
Wow.
You threw the discus. You were fast and all this stuff. Who do you believe? Let's take yourself out of the equation. Is the best athlete on the team?
The best athlete on the team.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to define athlete. There's a million different kinds of athletes, but
I think we got a whole bunch of sneaky athletes. Obviously, we didn't get to have OTAs this year, and OTAs is really when you you find out about those guys. But from what I've seen, that Cam Sims kid is got a little bit of everything. Right. He's athletic, he's fast, he's strong. He's everything you want in a football player, not only a receiver.
And then
that would be my bet.
Who's your top pick? If you guys were playing pickup hoops, just the guys on the Washington football team, who's your first pick?
So from what I've heard around the block is that David Sharp is the best basketball player that is on the team. Now, I don't know if it's any truth behind it, but that's what everybody has been saying.
Well, he's
what
a big
about
boy.
Chase played at DeMatha. Chase was on the team up through his junior year, so Chase can play.
Yeah, I'm sure, but if I had to, so
I mean, if Sharp is posting up
as a guard, yeah, right. I'm getting Sharp down there in the paint, let him go to work. But he said he doesn't like to play with his back to the basket. So I said, man, you got to have some skills if you're that big without your back to the basket. So
I mean, he's 6'6", 330. No one's moving him.
Big fella.
No question. Exactly. You want that on your side.
Yeah,
all right, Logan, man. Well, look, we appreciate the time. Everybody's excited that you guys have won 3 in a row. Keep it going, and hopefully we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, buddy.
No, I appreciate you guys having me on. It was a good time.
Yeah,
All right,
man.
Thanks,
buddy.
Logan.
Do it again.